Sermons in Candles, being 2 lectures upon the illustrations which may be found in common candles, by Charles Spurgeon. The bright shining of a candle doth give thee light. Luke 11:36. Read by Adriel Brandt. Lecture number 1. Lecturing was once so common an exercise that I have heard it said that all society might be divided into lecturer and the lectured, and the division was said to hold good both by night and by day, as Mr. and Mrs. Codle could bear testimony. Lectures are now the light of other days. No longer is Exeter Hall crowded to hear a series of lectures by great divines, and in vain do minor institutions invite an audience to a popular lecture. The magic spell has departed. The lectured ones are delivered. Who is responsible for the falling off in attendance at lectures? Did the talk become too dreary? Were the prelections too abstruse or too commonplace? Will mine be like them? I am not an adept at lecturing, and when I take to it under constraint, I either signally fail in it, or else the successful production is a sermon in disguise. You cannot drive out nature by command. The old pulpit hand must preach, even though you bid him do somewhat else. It would be no good sign if it were otherwise, for a man must keep to one thing, and be absorbed in it, or he will not do it well. I have preached now for so many years that use is second nature, and a lecture, a speech, an address, and I fear even a conversation, all have a tendency to mold themselves sermon fashion. It is just the old story over again of the artist who had been painting red lions all his life. The landlord of a public house in a certain street desired to have his establishment known as the Angel, and he commissioned the clever gentleman of the brush to produce one of those flaming spirits. The budding academician replied, "You had better have a red lion. I can paint red lions against any man, and they seem the right sign for publicans who do a roaring trade." "But," said Boniface, "there are 3 of your red lions quite handy already, and we want a little variety. I have made up my mind to have an angel. Cannot you arrange it?" "Well," said the artist, "I will see what I can do. You shall have your angel, but it will be awfully like a red lion." So, when I am requested to lecture, I reply, "I cannot manage it. My business is to preach." But if they press their suit, and I am weak enough to yield, I warn them that my lecture will be wonderfully like a sermon. I suppose a lecture signifies a reading, but enough of my brethren use manuscripts, and I will not compete with them. If I cannot speak extemporaneously, I will hold my tongue. To read, I am ashamed. In a lecture one has the advantage of more freedom than in a sermon. One is permitted to take a wider range of subjects, and to use an easier style than a theological discourse allows. I will use this freedom, but my aim will be the same as if I were preaching. I trust my lecture may possibly impress some minds to whom a sermon would seem too dull a business. By calling this lecture Sermons in Candles, I claim the right to mingle the severe with the lively, the grave with the gay. In due proportions, the mixture may be taken with good effect. This is how the lecture came about in the first place. It has grown considerably since it was born, as all lively children do. In addressing my students in the college long ago, I was urging upon them the duty and necessity of using plenty of illustrations in their preaching, that they might be both interesting and instructive. I reminded them that the Saviour had many likes in his discourses. He said over and over again, "The kingdom of heaven is like. The kingdom of heaven is like. Without a parable spake he not unto them." The common people heard him gladly, because he was full of emblem and simile. A sermon without illustrations is like a room without windows. One student remarked that the difficulty was to get illustrations in any great abundance. "Yes," I said, "if you do not wake up, but go through the world asleep, you cannot see illustrations."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?